Hello wrestling fans, this is Alan Cotton with another edition of the Final Verdict Wrestling Review, and I'm reviewing the June 13th edition of Monday Night Raw, the 3-hour All-Star Monday Night Raw, and I must say it was a fantastic show from top to bottom. They opened the show with General Manager Stone Cold Steve Austin on the mic, which is always a great thing to see. Got to give it up for Stone Cold Steve Austin. He did a great job as General Manager. You almost want him to be General Manager permanently instead of a freaking computer, but you know, you can't always get what you want. We also saw a great mic work from The Miz. Stone Cold and The Miz had great chemistry. You almost want to think what would happen if Stone Cold was still on the full active list and still a full-time wrestler, how that feud would really play off, because they really did have some chemistry going on there. Of course, that also led to Alberto Del Rio versus Kane, and that led to Big Show coming out, which is the first time we've seen Big Show in the first couple weeks since being hit by Alberto's car, and that also led to a match between Alberto and Big Show at Capital Punishment. We also saw a great six-man tag between Sin Cara, Daniel Bryan, and Ezekiel Jackson against Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes, and Ted DiBiase. Great talent involved right there. All had a reason to be in the match. All had a reason. It's continuity from the feud from SmackDown that we've seen for the last couple weeks, especially between Wade Barrett and Ezekiel Jackson, who also got a match at Capital Punishment this Sunday. We saw a great 8 Diva tag match. It was kind of short, but you know, it got its point across. We saw AJ and Caitlyn in the match. How can you really complain about that? So a great tag between Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne against Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler. Nice video package they had of Dolph Ziggler too, because Dolph Ziggler, you know, you haven't seen much of Dolph Ziggler since he got drafted to Raw. He was a pretty big deal on SmackDown. He was in world title status. And makes you think maybe they should have kept him there. He probably would have been in the main event by now. But it was a great tag match, great video package. Dolph is challenging for the United States title at Capital Punishment this Sunday. The highlight of the night definitely was the Piper's Pit between The Miz and Alex Riley. I must admit right now, The Miz and Roddy Piper have amazing chemistry together. You can almost see the similarities between the two. You can almost see where a lot of Miz's mic work come from. He studied. He saw the video library. He's been wide. You can tell he's been a fan of Roddy Piper about 20 years ago or so. Nice little, give credit to The Miz for a nice touch when he said, you know, Roddy Piper accuses Miz of using Alex Riley to get the WWE Championship. And The Miz responds saying, "You've been using Bob Orton all these years and you still couldn't win at WrestleMania." Nice little touch there, nice little nostalgic moment right there. For people that don't remember, yes, he did have Randy Orton's father, Bob Orton, as security at the first WrestleMania. I also got to give it to another pro. Definitely was the main event between John Cena and CM Punk. It was a nice thing to see there. You already know CM Punk is always on every week. The guy never has a bad day. And on top of that, he actually won the match. Something that's very rare for CM Punk. No matter how over he is, he never really comes out on top. So it was great to see that. Also, it was great to see R-Truth interfering for all the little Jimmys out there. Snatches the kid John Cena hat off, and of course he assaults John Cena after the match, hitting him upside the head with a bottle of water. Some people might have a problem with it. Some people don't have a problem with it. I think it's just storyline continuity, since he did the same thing to John Morrison. Speaking of John Morrison, who also made a brief appearance last night, great to see him, so to speak, but it was also momentarily, as he was assaulted backstage by none other than R-Truth. And all he says, "Little Jimmy just got." So it was great to see that. Another heel that was on fire is R-Truth, along with The Miz. The Miz and R-Truth was one of the two reasons to see the show. Very nice show. A very nice showing between those two guys. A lot of chemistry, a lot of charisma there. I think R-Truth is having a lot of fun as a heel. You can just tell with the little Jimmys and "you just got." And you know, he tells John Morrison, "You want to be Billy Bad? Where I'm from, you don't act bad, you better be bad." Nice little quote right there. My favorite quote of the entire night. Also got to see. Now, one of the cons I must say about last night was the lack of wrestling. It's a 3-hour show. Let me say this one more. It's a 3-hour show. The first hour of the show was pretty much awful, because all it did was set up the last 2 hours. All it did was set up matches throughout the night. Not saying it's a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing either. You got a 3-hour show and you use the first hour with not much of anything but a bunch of matches that was probably under 2 minutes. One of which being, of course, Alberto Del Rio versus Kane, like I mentioned earlier. He gets disqualified because he doesn't break his cross arm breaker on a 5 count, which is just lame right there. That just did nothing but set up a reason for Big Show to come out. Another kind would be the squash between Sheamus and Santino Marella. We already knew who was going to win anyway. I mean, you know, it was just ridiculous. And we also see Sheamus using the Texas Cloverleaf. So I guess Sheamus been watching a lot of Dean Malenko nowadays. Another kind, like I said, the only small complaint I can say was not enough wrestling. And that affects, you know, you got your entertainment fans who like the storylines and the drama, but you got your wrestling fans who want to see the athleticism and, you know, the hard-hitting action. I'm a little bit in between. I like my storylines along with the action. But that's the only complaint I really have to say about the 3-hour Monday Night Raw. Really can't say anything else about it. Stone Cold was on point, Miz was on point, R-Truth was on point. Great to see. They kept the John Cena down to a minimum this time around. Great showing with Christian and Randy Orton also. I forgot to mention that. They had a nice confrontation. Christian's really, he's going back to 2004, 2005 with his heel persona. He's not calling himself Captain Charisma this time around. I think he's a little bit more serious than before, but it's been a long time coming for Christian. Of course, he has a match against Randy Orton at the Capital Punishment pay-per-view for the World Heavyweight Championship, which I'm reviewing Sunday, so you guys come tune in and see what happens, what I got to say about that. Is it worth it $44.95? I'm not going to say it right now. Just hit me up on Sunday. But the final verdict for the 3-hour Monday Night All-Star Raw, I will have to give it an 8. Definitely a very solid 8. Very entertaining. They did a very good hard sell for Capital Punishment this Sunday, which was the whole point of this Monday Night Raw. What we don't need, however, is a 3-hour Monday Night Raw next week. Yeah, I wonder how they're going to do with that. I wonder what's the purpose. But very final verdict for Monday Night Raw is an 8. Very good hard sell. Very entertaining 3 hours, even though the first hour wasn't that great. But it was very entertaining all the way through. I was very satisfied. Come back on Thursday. I will be reviewing TNA Impact Wrestling. Friday, I will be reviewing Friday Night SmackDown. And, of course, Sunday, I'm giving you my pay-per-view analysis. I'm going to book Capital Punishment and just to let you guys know if it's worth, you know, $45. Until then, this is Alan Cotton. This is the Final Verdict Wrestling Review. Y'all God bless. Take care of yourselves.